So apparently I have gotten green paint on this dress. So it is now my lounge around the house painting pictures dress. Okay, so we are all ready for the day. I gotta go call Progressive and cancel my car insurance, and then I got some house chores to do and stuff like that. But then we're gonna have Bible study, and we're gonna have arts and crafts time. So here is my Bible study book that I bought like month and a half ago or so. I did put my hair up because I love the little cottagecore hairstyle I had going on earlier this morning, but I live in Mississippi, and even with staying inside all day with both my air conditioner and fan on, it is still so humid up in here. So we're going to be living in claw clips for the remainder of the summertime. Let's get into this Bible study book. The book that I'm doing is called The Bible in 52 Weeks, a year-long Bible study for women. I got this at Walmart for like $15, I believe, and it is by Dr. Kimberly D. Moore. So the way that this Bible study book is set up, I don't know if you can see that, but you have 7 days of the week, and you have a different reading for each day of the week. And then on the last day, you read her commentary, and then there is a worksheet or two that asks you questions that you can fill out. We're on week 4, and this week the theme is called Thank God for the Crushing. And I feel like that has been really reinforced to me lately, even through like watching Facebook reels and things like that. It just has stood out that God is speaking over me to thank Him even when I'm in a place in my life that may not be what I would like for it to be. And that is where I'm at right now. I would like to have a husband. I would like to have children. It's not the time for that, apparently, even though I wish that it was. So God has just been really speaking to me, and this is just confirming that you have to be thankful even in the times of your life that kind of crushes your spirit a little bit. Day 1 is Exodus 19 through 21 that we're going to be reading. So I have my NIV Bible. It's actually like a Bible journal. I've had this thing for years. And I'm going to be reading Exodus chapter 19. The title of this chapter in my Bible says, At Mount Sinai. On the first day of the 3rd month after the Israelites left Egypt, on that very day, they came to the desert of Sinai. After they set out from Rephidim, they entered the desert of Sinai, and Israel camped there in the desert in front of the mountain. So Moses is leading the Israelites away from Egypt right now. Then Moses went up to God, and the Lord called to him from the mountain and said, "This is what you are to say to the descendants of Jacob, and what you are to tell the people of Israel. You yourselves have seen what I did to Egypt, and how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now if you obey me fully and keep my covenant, then out of all nations you will be my treasured possession. Although the whole earth is mine, you will be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words you are to speak to the Israelites." So Moses went back and summoned the elders of the people, and set before them all the words the Lord had commanded him to speak. The people all responded together, "We will do everything the Lord has said." So Moses brought their answer back to the Lord. The Lord said to Moses, "I am going to come to you in a dense cloud, so that the people will hear me speaking with you and will always put their trust in you." Then Moses told the Lord what the people had said. And the Lord said to Moses, "Go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow. Have them wash their clothes and be ready by the third day, because on that day the Lord will come down on Mount Sinai in the sight of all the people. Put limits for the people around the mountain and tell them, 'Be careful that you do not approach the mountain or touch the foot of it. Whoever touches the mountain is to be put to death. They are to be stoned or shot with arrows. Not a hand is to be laid on them. No person or animal shall be permitted to live. Only when the ram's horn sounds a long blast may they approach the mountain." After Moses had gone down the mountain to the people, he consecrated them, and they washed their clothes. Then he said to the people, "Prepare yourselves for the third day. Abstain from sexual relations." On the morning of the third day there was thunder and lightning, with a thick cloud over the mountain, and a very loud trumpet blast. Everyone in the camp trembled. Then Moses led the people out of the camp to meet with God. And they stood at the foot of the mountain. Mount Sinai was covered with smoke, because the Lord descended on it in fire. The smoke billowed up from it like smoke from a furnace, and the whole mountain trembled violently. As the sound of the trumpet grew louder and louder, Moses spoke, and the voice of God answered him. The Lord descended to the top of Mount Sinai and called Moses to the top of the mountain. So Moses went up, and the Lord said to him, "Go down and warn the people, so they do not force their way through to see the Lord, and many of them perish. Even the priests who approach the Lord must consecrate themselves, or the Lord will break out against them." Moses said to the Lord, "The people cannot come up Mount Sinai, because you yourself warned us. Put limits around the mountain and set it apart as holy." The Lord replied, "Go down and bring Aaron up with you. But the priests and the people must not force their way through to come up to the Lord, or he will break out against them." So Moses went down to the people and told them. So the main thing that stands out to me from this is that God is telling Moses and telling the Israelites to consecrate themselves. And consecration means to view something as holy, and to make something holy, and to be set apart. So God is telling the Israelites to make themselves holy and to set themselves apart from the rest of the world. That's why he tells them to refrain from sexual relations. That's why he tells them to clean their clothes. They're cleaning themselves up. They're cleaning their clothes. They're cleaning their lives up. They are setting themselves apart and consecrating themselves. And that's what is happening here. I feel like if I read all of this, it would make the video way too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read Exodus 20 and 21 to myself. I encourage you guys to read it for yourself. And then I'm going to come back with my comments on what I feel like is happening and what I take from this reading today. So in Exodus 20, it is talking about the 10 Commandments, and I do want to read them just because I feel like it's important. All of it's important, but they are very important. So, you shall have no other gods before me. And I'm going to skip some of the verses and just talk about the commandments. You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven, above, or on the earth, beneath, and the waters below. You shall not bow down to them, or worship them. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Honor your father and mother, so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house, your neighbor's wife, his male or female servant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. I feel like I counted more than 10. I feel like some of this at the top probably wasn't in the 10 Commandments, but it was still like an order from God. But that is what Exodus 20 is covering, is the 10 Commandments. And it also talks about false idols and how you should have an altar made for God and not for false idols. And he's speaking to the Israelites, but he's also speaking to all of us too. So, Exodus 21 is talking a whole lot about the rules that he set up for people who owned slaves in that time, and how they were to treat their slaves, and how they were, like, what would make it be reasonable to free their slaves. And it talks also a lot about consequences for hurting other people, or if your livestock hurts other people, what are the consequences of that? Sometimes the consequence is death. Sometimes the consequence is a payment or giving your livestock away. It just talks a lot about consequences for sin. So that is what I got from this. This reading talked a lot about sanctifying yourself and consequences for sin. At least that's what relates to my life and our life today. We don't really own slaves in this day, thankfully. So none of that kind of has to do with the life that we're living, but it does show what was going on in the times that Moses brought the Israelites out of Egypt. So that is the end of my little Bible study for today. That's all I'm going to be sharing with you on that today. And then I'm going to do some arts and crafts here in a moment. We're going to try to make some makeshift Mod Podge, because they did not have Mod Podge at the store that I went to, but I looked it up, and you can use something called glue all. It's like Elmer's glue, but it's called glue all, and you're supposed to be able to mix that with water and use it as like a Mod Podge for decoupaging stuff. So that's what we're about to do. So I'm going to invite you guys to come along with me, and we're going to have some fun doing some crafty stuff. So I have my glue off and a cute little plastic kids cup with a giraffe on it. I'm gonna pour this into this cup and then mix it with water until it looks pretty runny, to about the same consistency as what I think Mod Podge will be. And then I'm gonna come back and cut out the pages that I want to use on my canvas with my little kids' craft scissors, and we'll go from there. I'm not really sure if I should use half the bottle, the whole bottle, or what. We're gonna start with like half the bottle. Alright, now I have added the water on top. I don't know if you can really see that, but I just have a plastic spoon to stir it with. That looks way too watered down. I think I'm gonna have to use the rest of the glue. Alright. It's still pretty liquidy, but I can still feel a little bit of the glue's thickness. So that is what we are looking for. So this is the recipe book that I'm going to be cutting up, and since my painting is going to be of strawberry preserves, I'm going to try to find anything to do with strawberries, like these strawberries on the front cover. This says strawberry sorbet. I may just cut out the word strawberry or anything down here that has to do with strawberries. And like there's a cheesecake with strawberries and berries on it. That would be kind of cool. And it doesn't have to be strawberry. It could just be random words just to make it kind of look cool. But I definitely want things to do with strawberries to be the main focus on what I Mod Podge down on the canvas, even though a lot of it is going to end up being painted over. So yeah. So here is my canvas and all of my recipe book cutouts, just to kind of show you the vision. The next step is going to be, I'm going to cover this with a light coat of the Mod Podge, stick these on top of it, and then cover it with a thicker layer of Mod Podge over the top. Well, I say Mod Podge, but my homemade Mod Podge stuff that we just made. And then I'm gonna let it dry until it's completely dry. It may take a couple hours, and then we will come back and paint over it. Okay, after doing some layering, this is what I've come up with. There's really no rhyme or reason to it. I'm going to trim the edges now and then layer like a few thin layers of the glue mixture on top of it, and then let it dry for at least like 2 or 3 hours. Okay, so this is what it looks like after the layer of DIY Mod Podge on top. I try to smooth things down with my finger. There is a few wrinkles. I'm not that concerned about it because I will be painting over most of this. But of course I'm going to be leaving like certain features or words out that I want to stand out. And I just have it sitting on my bed on my little easel thing in front of my fan that is blowing on it. So I'll see you guys in an hour or two. Then I did look up how to store your DIY Mod Podge that's left over to make sure you can actually still use it again and it doesn't dry out or go bad. And one of the things it suggested was plastic squeezy bottles. I have this, it's kind of like a mustard ketchup bottle. It's Dolly Parton. It was on sale at Dollar General a while back. I used it like one time for making funnel cakes and I have not used it since. So we're going to use it for DIY Mod Podge solution. It says to just pour it in there. I'm hoping I'm not going to make a big old mess. And then after I pour it in here, it said to put a small square of plastic wrap over the top before you put the lid on to, that's to help keep it from drying out. So I'm going to get some plastic wrap and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my plastic wrap. Also, Google said to make sure you store it in a cool, dry place. My room is the coldest room in the house, but it is very hot this summer, so I'm going to store it on my art shelf with all of my other art stuff and just hope for the best. This is my art shelf. I don't know how much you can see of it. I got some random stuff on the top that doesn't really belong there, like fabric freshener and stuff, but right now it's going on the top of my art shelf. All of a sudden I had this brilliant idea to print off a picture of a strawberry jam jar to cut out to use for the shape. And then I just taped it to the canvas where I wanted it to go. Here I have a mixture of pouring medium, that's the clear kind of looking stuff, some red and brown paint, and I took that paint and went around the perimeter of the picture of the jar just to give me the shape that I was looking for. Kind of disappointed that I covered up all of that cheesecake, so I just put another little ingredients list that I Mod Podged back onto the top of it. So this is how it ended up turning out. Overall, I was very happy with this. I think that it's very inventive and unique and cool. This is what it looks like in a kitchen setting with the other little kitchen signs. Overall, I thought this was very fun, and I love how it turned out. Okay, you guys, so that's a wrap for this video. Real quick, I had to show you this frog that made a little home in our kitchen for some reason on the soap dispenser. Hang on, I'll show you in just a minute, baby. This little fella was just randomly sitting on the hand soap in the kitchen. I'm gonna go put it outside before my nephew can decide it's a pet and then kill it. So, and it just fell. Let it go find his family, okay?
Bye, girl.
Bye, frog. Go find your mama and brothers.
I need Mama and Baba.
Yeah, go find your mama and baba. Or sisters, or wife, or whatever.
And Papa need friends.
Yeah, your papa and your 3 friends. Go find them. But I'm covered in paint. Anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you are having a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, night, whenever you're watching this video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.